All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. We're back tonight. We're playing more Time Watch. Did we make a call on whether we're making fun of my tray or not for not being here? Did we make a decision?
We did make a decision.
We had a conversation. But
Joe,
yeah.
do you think the juice is worth the squeeze on making fun of my tray while she's not here?
What do you think, Woody?
Yeah, I think it's what's the chances of getting heads twice?
I mean,
50%.
It doesn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it does, like I said, if it does happen, that really reveals some powers.
It opens up the door.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Really does, which is very exciting.
I think it's better to know.
Yeah. It is, because you wouldn't want to accidentally do it. Because like we've started shows in the past making fun of people, like random people, and we have, who knows? Who knows? You know, we wouldn't,
Yeah.
we'd have no idea.
It may be there now.
It could be. Oh, we got to start over. I forgot to record on something. So, okay, we're just going to do all that. Take two. Everybody, go ahead. Get in your positions. Okay, you're good. Excellent. Oh, God. Adam's doing that thing again that he was doing during loading. Never mind. Anyhow, that's a funny joke if you saw our private chat ahead of time. But whatever. Anyhow, okay. Are we ready to go? Let's start up. We're down my tray. We got Adam back. So we're gonna push forward here. All right. So last time around, you all broke into a Holocene era compound way in the past. 12,000 or so years ago. You broke into it, used a mixture of animal dung on your face and I don't know, stealth, something like that. You got inside really intelligently, and then you found a lab. This is like a mechanical laboratory. You started to hack into the system. You learned a few things about who this compound belonged to. It was a company called Chen's Curations or something like that. And it was run by someone by the name of Hitesh Chen. You also learned that there was a permanent time rip connected to connecting this facility in 12,000 BC to the 24th century. And it was allowing workers to essentially funnel stolen artifacts and weapons and such into the future. You learned that Hitesh Chen was specifically fixated on 20th century weaponry. So he'd already secured some Cold War era suitcase nukes, Saddam Hussein's missing chemical weapons, all that kind of good stuff. In the courtyard of this compound, you found this relatively antiquated looking time machine by comparison to your autocrons that they were using for this theft. They would shoot out this like indiscriminate beam into the past and just kind of hope it got what it's supposed to get, like this big sweep into it. This also prompted you all to travel several months back to the early construction phase of the compound. Muck and Sun Tzu, you killed a giant sloth. And you like kind of sprinkled some of the meat around the compound, hoping that was going to draw in predators and really, essentially deter these workers from continuing to live here. See, Isla, Syra, and Jimmy, you worked on sabotaging the beam weapon while that was happening. And you eventually located the building that housed that permanent time tunnel, that time rip, and you convinced the attendant that he was like under inspection, and you dismissed him, which allowed you then to seal the rip without any trouble. But right as you were sealing the rip, the last thing you saw was a 24th century. Well, actually, you didn't. I guess you did kind of know it was 21st century, but you saw essentially like a museum display case room or something like that, and a floating brain in a case started charging at you. This flying thing started charging at you. It was like, no! And then you sealed up the time rip. You thought your mission was done. You thought you were good. So you jumped to the mid 1990s, I should say. You broke into a library after hours, and you wanted to kind of check some research to see if like the nuclear test that had been halted because of the theft of the atomic bomb had actually gone through. You found a bunch of historical records that had all these sorts of complaints about radiation sicknesses and these lawsuits and such, all of it suggesting that the timeline had been restored. And it's at that point in the library when the brain in a case suddenly appeared right there in the library with you and was like raving madly. So that is where we're at. So let's start up there. So when I describe a brain in a case, I very much do mean exactly what you think it means, which is that it is a large disembodied brain. It is in this shielded glass case. it has some kind of some sort of floating disc, like metallic disc of some kind. It almost looks like a giant snow globe with a brain inside of it. And there is a speaker in front. You don't see any eyes. You don't see a mouth. You don't see any ears. You don't see anything like that. But you do notice like there's sound coming out of this speaker. And as you guys are standing there, as you guys are standing there and like looking at this, you're going through like some microfiche, you're swiping through some newspapers, you look up, there's paper swirling all over the place, and then this brain case appears and he says, "You meddling fools! Fools, all of you! First, you deny me my greatest prize, and now you have unmade my universe! My collection, my beautiful collection! You have no right to do this! Time is not only yours to wield!" And you can see like this, like he's sort of like this little platform that he's on, this like metallic platform, but starts to shimmer and vibrate, and you see these little receptacles begin to open up, and these tiny little devices come up all around, like almost like the hands of a clock, and begin like zeroing in, like it's aiming at you guys. Who wants to go first? Who is doing something here?
I want to slide underneath it, baseball style.
Okay, and do what exactly? Tell me.
Did we lose Jeff?
What? I'm still here.
There you are.
What'd you call me?
You went silent for a moment.
I mean, I just wanted to reflect, you know.
That's fair. That's fair.
So what do you want to do as you slide under? Are you looking to attack him? Is that the idea? You're sliding under and punch him?
Slap a men tag on the bottom.
Okay, I do want to make sure that we are not offensively using mem tags anymore. We did that in the first session because we didn't fully understand them.
And now we
That
know.
is not a precedent for the rest of the campaign.
Yeah.
There's a whole process. They have to be unconscious. You have to like do all this kind of stuff. We've sort of remedied it afterwards by having her make some point spins.
Okay.
But that is not something that we really are doing. So, but you can try to make him unconscious.
Yeah, I'll slide under with my pacifist.
Okay.
Because that can do melee and ranged, right?
It can, in fact, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slide under,
So-
see if I can spot his,
Okay.
port and stuff.
So as he's beginning to raise all these like little laser spouts, Jimmy comes sliding underneath where he's floating. And are you gonna use scuffling? Scuffling is like the melee, and then shooting is
I'll do scuffling.
is
Sure.
doing range. Okay, yeah, you can do either. All right. So remember that you can spend points from scuffling to get a bonus on this roll before you roll. You can also spend potentially investigative abilities if you want to get even bigger bonuses to this as well. So remember, all of that has to be declared before you roll.
I was going to roll scuffling, and I was going to spend 2 on it.
Okay, so you're rolling a d6 plus 2. Go right ahead.
I got a 4.
Okay, a 4 is still good enough. And since you're using your, what's it called? Your
Pacifist.
Your pacifist. The pacifist is a stun weapon. It has a stun 5. So as you race under, so what that basically means is I have to make a test now to resist that stun. And if I fail to resist it, bad things happen. But even if I succeed, it actually like kind of still hurts for a little bit afterwards as well. Okay. So you have a stun rating of 5. You're at point blank, so you're good. All right. And let me roll a test. I am going to make a spend to boost this because I do not want to be stunned just yet.
No.
You can do it eventually, just not right off the bat. Okay.
We'll see. How
All
it
right,
goes.
I roll a-
maybe.
All right, I rolled a 7 in total, which is a success. But because you're using your pacifist on a fail, like something still happens on the fail. I'm trying to remember what it was. Melissa, do you remember?
With the pacifist specifically?
Yeah, like even when like they are stunned, something actually happens.
Trying to figure that out.
It says it's page 51 of the PDF.
Page
Is that
51.
right?
I have the physical book, so I'm just going to go ahead.
Making a
and just
successful
do it
tinkering
fast.
test can overcharge.
Oh no, it's talking about something else with the pacifist.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could have sworn there was something with like the like even if like they succeed on it, there's something that lingers. I think it's like their difficulty of any tests they make is increased for a round, even if they pass their stun. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So we'll just say that that's what it is for now. Okay. So you slide under. You take your fist, you jam the platform underneath. You feel this like expulsion of energy. No one, like the pacifist, doesn't have any like visible identifiers, but you can feel as your fist hits the undercarriage of this floating disc. There's a, and it kind of disperses a little bit of the energy that you shoot around it.
Is that visible?
I'll say like that part is visible. You see like this little electrical charge begins to coat around it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now remember, this game normally has like a popcorn initiative. So like Jimmy would say who goes next.
Muck.
But I'm going to use another
no.
ability. I'm going to use another ability called Seize the Initiative.
Oh no.
Where I can spend some points for him to go.
Nice.
And so that is what he is going to do. And as you slide under and you punch up, you can feel like something's a little bit strange going on in the room. All of you begin to feel this as the entire library second floor that you're on starts to. You look around, it almost looks like you're looking at a mirage on the horizon in the distance, where everything kind of gets a little bit shimmery and purpley. And he says, like,
I called you fools, and I was right. We detected your futile attempts at sabotage. We have our beam.
and then just like that, you see the entire room fills with purple light. All of you, much like what you would happen in like in your autocron, where like this little bubble comes around you. Instead, this is a huge beam that just goes across the entire second floor of the library, and it encompasses all of you. Everybody, go ahead and make a time travel test. This is a chronal stability, difficulty 4.
Yes.
Standard stuff. Okay.
I think that is beyond the realm of my thing. Yeah, it is.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Muck, it is the first of a scene, so you actually don't have to roll yours.
I love it. God, that
very
grounded
nice.
ability is the best thing.
It's so good. Yeah. Okay. It looks like Isra failed.
I did. I
and
rolled a 1.
Sun Tzu failed, but everybody else passed. Isra and Sun Tzu both take 2 points of chronal stability loss.
Youch.
As
Okay.
the purple light fades, you all are able to see again. You see the shelves of the library. You see books that are kind of flopping off of a shelf, like one of the shelves tips over onto the side. You see these different papers like swooshing around in the air from the sudden removal of them. You hear the sounds of like distant roar and gunfire. The air is much clearer in here. And as you look around, you realize that you are in the compound of the Holocene era once more. And you can see on some of the buildings around you, those prefab buildings, there are groups of guards with rifles pointing down. And as you guys morph in, he says,
Shoot them! Take their equipment!
and he's going to pass his initiative off to one of those guards who is going to attempt to fire at you. So let's see.
Oh no.
All right.
Oh, this is bad. This
he's
is
going to
bad.
fire at he's going to fire at Isra. Sorry, Isra.
Oh.
Here we go.
Oh no.
Like I
All
said,
right.
this is bad.
Okay. So these ones are pretty easy to use. That is a 7 to hit. Is that good? I think it's good.
So my
it should be.
hit
Your threshold's
threshold
probably
is
4.
3. It's 3.
There's no
And
there's
then-
no crits in this game like there is in Swords. Okay. All right. You need to go ahead and you need to make a stun test. It's just like what you guys were doing, like what Jimmy tried to do to him. You guys, like they're shooting you with these long range disruptors, and so you hear out as the stun shot comes down in your direction.
Okay, so I'm rolling
So like a health test.
a health test.
Yeah, I think it's health because it's to prevent
Okay.
being stunned. Yeah.
All right, so I'm rolling health. Roll the
think
6.
Ooh.
Okay. That is enough to not be stunned. I noticed, by the way, the rules help in Foundry has the thing I was looking for a few minutes ago.
Oh,
So
okay.
like if you success, you remain conscious, but you're impaired. You suffer a non-cumulative 1 point increase to the difficulty of any action. So I was right. Okay. So Isra, you succeed at not being stunned, so you do not fall unconscious. They are shooting you with stun. That was a stun shot. Until the end of your next turn, anything you attempt to do, any general ability action you attempt to make, is going to be increased by +1. The difficulty is. Okay. Do any of you have like a seize initiative ability, or else I'm just going to keep taking shots?
I know notice can let you start with initiative, but I don't think it lets you seize initiative.
Okay. Then the shots are going to keep coming as you guys hear the sounds of distant gunfire. It's not just here in the courtyard, but you can hear others, like other shots going on. You hear people like kind of shouting from a distance. They're like they're at the walls, and you hear like Hitesh is like, it's like, where are the rest of the guards? And they're like, we're sorry, sir, we're being attacked. That's the bears. They're going crazy. I don't know what it is. And I'm going to have. I still have a couple guards focusing on you. Another one's going to shoot at Isra. Isra, you said a 3 is your threshold?
Correct.
Well, that is what I hit. So go ahead and roll yet another stun test. This time it's going to be increased difficulty of 1 for you. Season initiative is so strong.
Crap.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, roll the 3. So that's a fail.
Okay. All right. So you are going to be stunned. You are going to remain. So basically what happens now is, don't forget, by the way, you can always reduce your health pool. So failure, you are knocked unconscious for a period that varies by weapon, but usually 10 to 60 minutes. Someone else can make a difficulty 4 medic test on you to wake you up. So you guys watch as like 2 of these guards up on these like prefab buildings that are surrounding the courtyard where there's the big device. There's now rows and rows of like library books, and there's like old the computers from the 90s and a microfiche machine that are now all crowded in this courtyard. Hitesh Chen is floating around still. 5 of his guards are firing down. 2 of them shoot at Isra. The first one Isra manages to shake off. The second one hits her square in the chest and she falls. Okay. Next.
Oh dear.
I'm going to continue. This one's going to go at Tommy Atkins. Tommy at 5, I think, is good on you. Is that right?
Yep. My threshold is 4.
All right. So you need to roll a health test, and you can optionally, before you roll, you can spend points. You can voluntarily reduce your health to get a bonus on this roll if you want.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Or you can potentially spend an investigative ability point if you think one is useful in this situation to withstand a stun shot to get a +3 on the roll. So these are options you can do before you roll. And to get the stitches rolling, by the way, while Adam thinks, I'm going to throw one out to Jimmy, because Jimmy he took the initiative and tried to go punch a brain in its nuts.
I did.
Yeah,
I think that deserves
like that.
Don't forget to give stitches out. You guys will need them. What do you think, Tommy?
I don't think I want to use any, because the one that I could use for this, I may want to use a little later.
Okay. All right.
How
If
much
you
health
fail
do you
this,
have?
I do want you to know that you will go unconscious, just like Isra did.
Right.
Okay. All right.
And
What's your
it's
health at? Are you that low that you can't spend any yet already?
Nope, it's nothing like that. I was just asking questions first. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and make a roll, and I got a 7.
Okay. Excellent.
Nice.
So
Nice,
7
nice.
is enough. much like Isra's first shot, you shake it off. You you take one in the shoulder. You feel this like weird charge, the sensation go through you, but you shake it off a bit. You're going to have a difficulty +1 on any test after this, but otherwise, you're okay. I'm going to do one more because I have 5 of these guys in total. I've done 3. I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to give it over to you guys to finally start going. All right, this one's going at Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu, so I rolled a 3. What's your hit threshold?
It is a 3.
Okay, that's going to hit. I need you to also roll a stun test.
Okay. Remind me what that is.
It's a health test. You can like I was just saying to Adam, you can optionally reduce your health, and for every point you reduce your health, it is a bonus to this health test. Okay. Or you can do an investigative ability point to get a +3 if you can justify why that spend would help you in this situation.
Don't go unconscious like me with 10 health.
Yeah.
Me.
I might want to... I can spend taunt, and I'm just trying to be like annoying and distracting and throw them off their game by...
They've already hit you. This is, I would say, the investigative ability would need to be something that helps you, like either technologically or just like physically withstand stun, right? So if you can justify that, I think you're cool.
Okay. Maybe not then.
So I'm trying to remember what Sun Tzu has. So military tactics, for instance, potentially you were trained in some ways and like to kind of withstand certain things. You could do something like, so
how to take a stun.
Yeah, you can take a shot. Like I would be okay with that. You can burn a timecraft if you want. Timecraft is very important, but you could burn a timecraft to say that you've got a souped up suit,
Yeah, I'll burn 1 military tactics.
Okay, perfect. So you'll have a +3 on this, so D6 +3.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll roll that, and then I didn't need it anyways.
Okay, it's a 7 total. You actually did, because 4 was not the difficulty. That is enough for you to not fall unconscious. You feel that surge of energy rush through you as you get shot by one of these stun rifles. However, you stay conscious. So Tommy and Sun Tzu, you both are going to have +1 on general ability points until the end of your turn. Isra, if you get woken up, same thing for you. I am going to pass initiative, keeping one of my guards still to go. I'm going to pass it to Muck. So Muck, you are up. You just see Isra fall. You see Tommy and Sun Tzu get shots. You see Jimmy is trying to punch up at this brain case from below. You hear the sounds of people shouting and shooting, and someone yelling something about the bears are attacking. What would you like to do, Muck?
How close are these guys to us? Like
which guys? Like the guards?
The guards shooting at us.
It looks like they are on top. Like they have kind of created like a situation, like a little horseshoe around where you guys landed out of the courtyard. So they're above. So anything you do would have to be above you.
Gotcha. And our pacifists, our inherent weapons are only close range, right?
They can get to. They are either point blank or they can get to the next one.
Shooting.
I can't remember. Well, it's not just so much as shooting. It's like there's, I think it's point blank and close. So you would need to get kind of close. If you got underneath the base of one, you could probably shoot up and fire at one. I would probably give him an increase to his threshold because but I think you could do it. You could try to run underneath one, shoot up. But yeah,
I'll try and do that. But I've been really excited to do some nonsense with one of my abilities.
Do it then. You should do some nonsense.
This is really bad. I'm going to remember this because was not expecting it now, but future me will remember it. And then he will hide over there, covered in shit, and he will have climbed the walls, ready to attack the one who's about to shoot us. And so I'll spend a point of paradox prevention to have a future Muck actually have already crawled the wall behind the guy who hasn't gone yet, ready to...
Okay, I absolutely love it. I do think you still need to roll a paradox. I think you need to roll a paradox test. And it's not a default, so you don't. Your other ability doesn't.
I have to actually roll it.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that.
Made a 7.
Okay, so
nice. Nice roll.
Seven's good. Seven's good. You keep it together, and other muck. So other muck's behind the guy. Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Is he pushing him off?
Basically, as this is happening, like it's Predator style. He's just completely covered in muck.
Covered him up.
Up and over. Yeah.
Does he like come over to push him off the side?
Yeah.
And that's what he,
100%.
okay.
That's because
I
that's
love
the
it.
most cinematic thing, obviously. Like it's complete darkness behind the dude until the eyes open and this big
Mm-hmm.
grin.
He's just like
And
firing
then-
and firing. Yeah. Because it's dark
So
out.
good.
It's nighttime.
Yeah.
And then
It's
all of
fun.
a sudden he's like, what's that smell? And then like the eyes open and muck pushes. Scuffling test.
Stitch for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna
a
say,
stitch
you
for
should
that.
Stitch for that.
And I'm going to say scuffling test, but like you get a +1 because that was just such a cool idea. And I think he's got like a little bit of surprise because of that situation. So as opposed to giving him like cover. So you're just trying to push him off. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So
Okay.
Scuffle. I'll still spend a little just because this is other muck. He's got his own pool.
Other muck can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Other muck.
Other muck's not
other muck will
beholden.
spend a couple because he doesn't want to fail. 8.
6.
Oh man.
Look at that roll.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's still good. That's definitely good. So you're just knocking him over.
Mhm.
He's fallen. Give me like a D6 +1 for damage.
Okay. D6 and sorry, it's being a little difficult on me.
Yeah,
Plus
because he's
1.
fallen a decent amount of distance. There's probably rules for fall
Mhm.
damage, but I don't want to look them up.
3.
Okay, so he's like, "What's that smell?" And then his head lands. You hear a sickening as it goes sideways, and he just limply falls to the ground. As that guy is no more. As you have
Okay.
taken one of them out. Okay.
And then
Nice
regular
work.
muck will run under another one and shoot up.
Okay. I don't think you
I'm not
get
sure,
2
do we
actions
both?
though. I don't think you
Oh,
get 2 actions. I think it's just to assist with another action. If I'm wrong, someone please tell me. But I thought that's how I interpret it, but I could have read it wrong.
It says spend 1 or more points to literally have your future self come back and help you fight, but
Right.
it triggers. So I don't know if it lets you.
That's
It
I don't
feels like
know.
that's their action. So like if you
Yeah.
triggered them to like come and unlock a door for you, like that's what you did.
That's another thing on there.
right. That's something different. Yeah.
A good question
I-
for a future time. I don't want to hold things up.
Yeah. We'll say for now, like you took one out. So you took one out.
Yeah.
I don't know if whether or not you get like a second initiative or something like that. But
Fair.
who would you want to go next? You have control of it.
Okay. So let's let Thomas go.
All right. Thomas is gonna take a brief look at the tank that the brain is in, and are there like any obvious wires, panels, anything like that on it?
So it's basically he's on a floating disc of metal of some kind, you think, and there's various receptacles that have tools and defensive weaponry and things coming out, like little beam weapons and such. Then there's like a glass dome within which the brain is floating around inside of it. There's no like obvious wires. This definitely looks like particularly decent tech, so it looks pretty sleek. But it doesn't mean you couldn't do something to try to expose some.
Yeah. I'm gonna go forward, and I'm gonna see if I can expose some sort of an access panel or something like that using science.
I like it. Okay. So you rush up, you're by Jimmy. So I would say both you and Jimmy are next to each other, as Hitesh's action was essentially to like trigger the time machine, obviously. So he's kind of floating. You slide underneath it. Give me a science test and see if you can quickly sort out what's going on. Because the disc itself is just tech. It's not like a specific time travel device, though he has some of that.
And
Built
also,
in.
Adam, you get a stitch because you said science the only proper way, which is science.
Look at you guys. All you gotta do is
Stitch
try
for
to
you.
kill everybody, and all of a sudden, people throwing out stitches. Oh, look at that! Look at that.
Yeah. So I don't know if I spent that right, because it's one of those abilities, and I spent the point.
Yeah. So
You did.
basically,
You
give
spent
me
it,
give me a scuffling test. Give yourself
Okay.
+3 because you spent science. So you're
Okay,
essentially getting.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
You did it right.
And you know what? I'm going to spend one of my own scuffling points out of that too. So let's go ahead and. So so 2 plus 3 is 5.
Oh, thank
5
goodness.
I didn't know
still
how to add the 3 without taking more
Okay.
points.
Yeah.
still a success. You tell me what you'd like to do. Would you like to say this is increasing his difficulty on his abilities that he tries to do because you're exposing these things? Do you want to say it lowers his hit threshold, or do you just want to do damage? Any of those 3, I would be cool with, unless you have another idea.
Yeah, I mean, I've got an idea that I would open it. It's like an access hatch in order to get into the underworkings, and it's where because you think you'd have to keep it moisturized or something from the brain drying out, and so this panel is there. I'm just gonna rub up and I'm gonna touch the brain with my dirty hand and get it all messy,
Ew.
and also leave the hatch open to let that bothersome cold air come in.
Okay.
And
Brain
that's going to
freeze.
give him all
Yeah.
sorts of debuffs as he it just doesn't feel right. And that hatch is
Wow.
just going to stay open. And I'm going to turn to Jimmy and I'm going to say, you know what to do. As I point to the hole underneath.
It is not Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy can't go because
Right.
Jimmy's already gone. It has to be
So
Sun Tzu or
role play. I'm just
Okay,
doing
okay.
that
Just wanna
role
make sure.
play. And
Okay.
so now then Sun Tzu's the one to call out after that because everyone else is gone, right?
Yeah, and Isra is unfortunately unconscious and will remain so unless somebody passes a medical test to wake her up. But Sun Tzu, it's your turn.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. How do I wake her up?
A medical test. So you go over and you
Okay.
make a medicine. What's it called? Medicine?
Medic.
Yeah, medic. Excuse me. Medic test. It's a difficulty 4. I'll let you know the difficulty at a time on this one. So you can
Okay.
make a spend if you want before you roll. Jeremy, have you been looking up your booster, by the way? I want to make sure because we could always give him a future.
I don't have the actual book next to me at the moment, so I don't want to take away
Okay.
from things. I'm fine with it being for this time. That was what it was. Maybe he's still there, and if I want to do an action, it's just him or me
Mhm.
instead of.
Okay.
I don't want to take
All right.
away from the 3.
You're all good, dude.
Okay. I will spend 2 on medic to make sure. Actually, I'll spend 3 just to make sure this goes through. 6.
Okay, so you are able to rouse Isra. So Isra, you wake up, you're laying unconscious, you see Sun Tzu over top of you. What does it look like, Sun Tzu? Is there any particular Sun Tzuian way of waking people?
He'd yell, "Wake up!" and he'd use his weapon. What was it, the pacifist? And just shock her in the neck.
So if
Okay.
you... Oh, that's right, because you're not restoring health points. You're just trying to wake me up.
Just waking you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so then it's okay.
Yeah, he's not gentle
All right.
about it at all.
And so she was stunned and that's how she went down. And so when she comes back, she's
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Okay.
oh, that really hurt. Son, did you just stun me?
I stunned you back.
Oh, thanks. And she's just sort of twitching a bit. Appreciate that. Thanks.
I got you.
Okay. So Sun Tzu, you have to pick who goes next. You have 2 options. You have Isra and you have the last of the guards. So what that basically means, though, is that whoever goes last in this round gets to pick who goes first in the next round. So if
Because it's popcorn.
Isn't
So,
the last of the guards the one that Muck threw over the ledge?
Is that what you targeted, Muck? I don't remember. Sorry, I was trying to figure out the future self thing. Jeremy,
Yeah, I think he's also.
did you try to target the one who hadn't gone?
Yes. Sorry, I was in the middle
Okay.
of trying to look up online a cheat sheet for that.
All right, never mind. You only have the one person. You only have Isra next
That's
to
why
go.
Muck
She's the
was
only one.
I'll remember this
Okay.
guy, and I'll make sure to get him.
I choose my only option.
Okay. All right, Isra.
Isra's oh, thanks. They're only okay. I'm feeling the confidence. Maybe don't put that in your book.
I'll scratch that.
And so Isra, wants. So Isra has shooting as an 8, which means that Isra has double tap.
Yeah.
Which means that I don't have to announce it ahead of time. But if your shooting rating is 8 or more, you can shoot a second time during the same action. Second shot is performed at a +2 difficulty. It doesn't have to be announced until after the first shot is resolved, and it does not have to be aimed at the same target.
Okay. Well, what are you going to do with all that?
So, can I shoot the one that shot me?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
I would like to do that.
You probably scramble over to where like at the base, kind of like what Muck was doing, and you're going to fire up. I'm going to say just because of basic geometry, I'm going to give them a slight boost to their threshold, but otherwise you certainly can, as they're kind of leaning over, shooting down, and they're not like the best at this. So go for it.
Okay. So I have a +1 difficulty already because of having been stunned before.
Okay. Yep.
So I'm going to make a shooting test, and I'm going to spend 3. And I rolled a 6. So
That will hit.
that'll be a 8 because of my -1.
Okay, so that
Or
is
it was +1 difficulty. So I rolled
definitely
a
a
9.
hit. You're using your pacifist, so it is going to be a health test for him to stay conscious. All right, and you have I think you guys have what? Stun 5, I believe, is your pacifist. Okay, I did roll a 6, so I am not unconscious. However, that guard is definitely reeling from the effects, so he's going to have difficulty on his next turn to do anything. But you also have double tap, so you can shoot him again if you want.
I would like to do that because he knocked me out, so I'm not going to take too kindly to that. So
But you got
I'm going
back up
to.
again. It's fine.
I did get
Do I
back
get a
up.
stitch?
Again. Never going to keep me down.
You should, yes.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Whoops. I added from the pool instead of taking away from the pool. So I'm going to add 2 more to my pool to test this time.
All
So that's a 7 roll. I still have the +1 difficulty.
Okay, I got to do another health test, but this time is at +1 difficulty. So whereas before it was going to be a 5, now it's a 6. I got to roll. And I failed. So describe what it looks like as you stun him. You could describe him falling off. You could describe him getting blown back. How do you want to describe it?
So she is just like Sun Tzu just hurt her feelings by saying like, "Oh, you're all that's left, so I guess you can go." And she's like, "Oh, thanks." And so she kind of just shoots up at this awkward angle, at this kind of guard that was kind of shooting down at her, and she's like, You were not using this properly. Let me show you the right way to use this." And so she just kind of like shoots twice. And I imagine that he kind of like got a little bit off kilter after the first hit. And then after the second one, he just sort of goes like cartwheeling off.
I like
of kind of his
2
perch.
of them have fallen out to the ground. Muck, I've been reading, and I think you get another initiative, basically. I think it's literally another person. So I think Isra can give you initiative for yourself, because
I had
actually
go. I don't know. Yeah,
Well, I think your action was to call upon their help, and then future Muck's action was to push him over. So I think in the next round you'll get to go twice, but I think does that make sense? I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
All right, Isra, new round starting. Before you decide on who goes, I will say that you suddenly hear the sounds of something collapsing. You hear like, and you look over and like kind of back towards the sound, and you can see one of the walls that had not been completely put up. Remember, there was those really tall walls. One of them has collapsed, and you all see standing in the middle of it, as you look over, a massive bear that suddenly stands and is like 4 times as tall as the wall itself. All of these guards who are still on the wall firing down at it. It's just like getting hit left and right. Are you all familiar with the the great short-nosed bear? You ever seen one of these before? All right, I'm going to share a little handout so you guys can see what they look like.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've included a bunch of like Portland hipsters for scale, so you can kind of see.
Nice.
I love it.
It is, and it
so
stands.
Oh dear.
And it's literally almost 20 feet tall. and it's got these long arms, these long legs, and it goes, and you see in its mouth, Muck and Sun Tzu, it has a big chunk of giant sloth meat as it's beginning to tumble into. It's not right on you guys, but it's tumbling. It's knocked the wall down, and it's coming into the actual compound itself. Isra, what would you like to do? Who do you want to go next? Like, basically, you get to pick. It could be yourself, it could be one person on your team, could be me. If you just want me to,
I'll pass it to Sun because Sun Tzu spent his action doing medic, so I'll give him a shot to kind of do something offensive.
Okay, Sun Tzu. So 2 of the guards have been knocked down. One of them broke its neck on its fall. The other one, maybe. 3 guards are still up on the compound shooting down at you. You can see that like Tommy and Jimmy are both like screwing around with Hitesh, who's like kind of starting to move erratically. It's like,
No, you filthy human, stop touching me. Stop it.
and you hear the sounds of a massive bear knocking the wall down and is just essentially like charging into the compound itself. Sun Tzu, what would you like to do with your turn?
So what is like, how long is a turn? Like,
it's like any other game, basically. It's like something you can do in a handful of seconds, essentially what it is. But because you guys are, you have time machines, you have the potential to do other things with it. The problem with using your autocrons in combat is it takes a round to charge. So if you wanted to do something more than just a couple seconds, you would need to charge your autocron and it'll kind of go off on the next turn or something like that. Or maybe I have that backwards, but it takes like a round to charge or recharge.
Okay. So has the bear made it through the wall yet?
It knocked the wall down. It's not like on you guys or anything like that. You just see it away, like behind you down the courtyard. It's still getting shot. It's like tossing this big piece of meat up in the air and grabbing it. It doesn't look like their stun weapons are doing much for it. And it's kind of like swatting at people like up on the walls now. It's not on you yet. It's not an imminent threat, but it might be at some point. But who knows? It's a free agent. It does what it wants.
Are there any vehicles or anything nearby? My thought is to like start one up and just kind of put a brick on its accelerator and send it at this bear.
I think that's great. Absolutely. We'll say that there is like they definitely have like these all-terrain vehicles and such. And so we can say one is parked nearby. So give me a vehicles test, we'll say.
All right. I've got 3 points in that. I'll spend 2. 7.
Okay. So you race over, shots are being fired. Hitesh Chen is like freaking the hell out. The purple haze around you is beginning to fade a bit from that beam weapon. And we see Sun Tzu rush, kind of like step past Isra, pick up some large chunk of debris off the ground, places it on the gas pedal, and the ATV just charges in the direction of the bear. Okay. All right. Who would you like to go next?
Has Chuck gone yet this round?
It's a new round. You're the first one to go, I think. So
I'm the first one to go this round. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll throw it to Chuck. Yeah.
So there's a flap open giving us brain access. Is that correct?
Yes. You have brain access. Yeah.
I am going to use my pacifist in its very short range shooty shoot mode and put it right up in this giant brain's hole and give it a shot.
Okay. Go right ahead. Make your scuffling test. Spend your points ahead of time if there's things you want to, if you want to boost it.
Rather than punching it, can I do the shoot option?
Absolutely. You can at close range. Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do because I used all my scuffling this time.
You line up your shot. Tommy removes his forearm from the access, and you just fire up like on the ground, firing up like Keanu from Point Break.
And I'm going to dump all 4 of my shooting points into this.
Okay. You definitely want to hit.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing you did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I got to roll a stun test. I have some difficulty problems from Tommy giving you brain access. So this is going to be a harder test than normal. All right.
Just hope this brain's not super heavy when it falls unconscious and lands on us.
Okay, so normally that would have been a success as I rolled a 5, but because of the difficulty, which kicks it up to a 7, he is stunned. So Jimmy, describe what it looks like as you shoot into the brain case and cause him to get stunned and go unconscious, basically. What does that look like?
Yeah, so you see the brain, the classic cartoon, someone gets electrified, you see the brain skeleton on the inside. The controls start to go. His little chair speaker does a system reboot, and you hear the Mac chime noise as it's restarting, as this thing just kind of wobbles in a circle and eventually lands and rolls on its side.
Love it. Okay. I'm going to give stitches to Adam for coming up with a cool idea that gave Jimmy, who gets another one, the opportunity to use that idea. So teamwork. And then Sun Tzu for deciding to send an ATV after a giant bear. So these are all good stuff. I'm also doing your jobs for you, but that's fine.
Thank
you. Jimmy, who goes next?
So this thing's unconscious. Only Sun Tzu is gone.
There are 3 guards left. There's this giant bear that isn't on top of you yet and is now dealing with an ATV that is smashing into its knees.
The bear's kind of sort of friend at this moment. So I'm going to let Muck and Muck go.
Okay.
All right, Muck.
So I assume the guy that got pushed over, his rifle probably went over with him, right?
We can say it stayed up here. I'm fine with that. We can say it fell. It is just a stun weapon. It's not a whole lot different from your pacifist, but it's got longer range. Is essentially all it can do.
Nah, it's more fun if the Muck who's up on the wall turns to one of the other ones who's busy trying to line up a shot on somebody else on the team, because he's still completely covered
Mr. Chin! Mr. Chin! As he's calling down. And he's doesn't he say...
You only see the white of his eyes and his smile as he charges at him, ready to bull rush him off the wall, too.
Okay. All right. Give me a scuffling. Yeah, absolutely.
This is so much fun.
It's so stupid.
It is.
Just envisioned. It's so stupid. I love it.
It's such a good visual.
Goodness. Okay. 4 does hit. That's not great, but they have a low threshold. That definitely hits. Absolutely. Okay, roll your damage. D6 plus 1, we called it, for the fall.
And you can spend a stitch to add damage.
Because I have the scuffling bonus, do I at least get my bare minimum 2 on the roll?
I don't know if that's a rule in this game or not.
It's,
is it?
It's if you have 8 in scuffling. 1 second.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the serpentine rule for points spent is your minimum damage die roll.
You have to have the 8 in scuffling to get that. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Then so what is that? 3 points?
Turns it into 3. It's not great, but
it's enough because as he falls, his neck comically snaps in the exact same way. And now on the ground, there's these two Holocene guards with broken necks, all courtesy of future Muck or past Muck or future stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was future Muck. So you still have regular Muck can go still.
And then just timing it, you have the future Muck giggling profusely as he knocks one off the ground. And then now Muck is just waiting for him to drop, grab the rifle off of him, and then turn towards the other 2 that are left over.
Okay, absolutely. So you pick the rifle up off the ground, you point up, and you fire. Go ahead and roll your shooting test. These things have long range, so you're totally fine with range.
I love it. Okay, and I have double tap, so I can potentially shoot twice.
Okay. That means I get to bring the bear into the fight.
So I'll do my first shot at the first guy.
7 will hit. Okay. 7 will hit. I gotta roll a health test to see if he stays conscious. I rolled a 6. I've been rolling 6s on these. He does stay conscious. It is just a stun weapon, so he gets hit, but he does. You could tell he's affected by it. You can shoot at him again, kind of like Isra did, and it would that penalty will affect his roll.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you've got it's a -2 on the second shot, I believe, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
adds 2 to the difficulty.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will be basically we're going to take a -2 off of whatever rolls. I'm just clicking it so that it spins off the sheet. So 6.
Okay. Well, 4. You said right.
Well,
So it'd be-
I spent 4 to my roll.
But so you spent so you spent 4. You rolled a 6. The difficulty is just
back down to
increased by
4.
2.
All right.
Still hits.
Okay.
No. You're fine. Because I know what the number is over here. That still hits.
Nice.
The 6 does hit. Yeah.
Okay. So he was already stunned a little bit the first time. Hopefully the second one's a little bit
All
more
right.
difficult.
Let me go ahead and roll. I keep forgetting. I got to roll the stun test. I rolled another 6. I swear to God. So even with the increased difficulty would have just been +1 for him, which would have made it a 6. So I did pass. So he is still conscious. You shoot him twice, and he stays conscious. He's a tough
That
boy.
would be my luck. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, man.
Do you know who's going to finish
Okay.
this? Isra.
Okay.
Oh. You're
All right,
right.
Isra.
I've got this. And so she is going to shoot the one that Muck was just shooting.
As
Okay.
Muck is just smacking the gun, thinking something's not working properly. He looks to you because you actually know what you're doing.
All right, there's 2
they-
guards left.
They have,
one
like,
of them has
Extra
like
armor
2.
or something.
Yeah. Sure. Maybe he's just like Kansas bred. He's just a big dude. Lots of constitution.
Happens.
So the additional 1 difficulty that I had, was that just the first round? Is that gone now? Or is that
It is
for
gone by
this
the end
whole-
of your turn, which had already passed. So you
Okay.
hadn't taken your turn
Perfect.
yet. You finished your turn, and so now
Okay.
your new turn, you're fine.
All
Shaking it
right,
off.
so I'm just going to spend 1 from my pool. So
Okay.
+1 to the... Oh, damn it.
It's okay. They have a 3 threshold, so that hits.
All
Thresholds
right.
aren't very high in this game. It's not
3.
hard to hit things. It's just a question of whether you get the effect. Okay. So you said you targeted specifically the one that Muck just shot twice, which means he has a very difficult roll ahead
Yes.
of him, and he fails. So he does go, he does finally, after the 3rd shot, he's like, and he looks down, he's like, you can't stop me. And then you fire, and he falls backwards drunkenly onto the rooftop. Okay.
And Isra's going to look to Muck, and she's going to say, I just shot exactly where you did, because you did a little bit through the armor, so I just went all the way through.
You loosened the bub.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Were you
then-
double tapping, Isra?
Yes, I'll double tap. I'm going to run through all of my shooting here. So I'm going to spend another 1, puts me down to 1 shooting left to
Okay.
shoot the other guard, like the last
Okay.
final guard.
Absolutely.
Nice.
It's the last one
All right.
left.
Roll better. Okay, that's a...
3's a hit.
So, hold on, let's walk through this. So it's a +1, which is a 4, but it's 2 difficulty because I'm doing the double tap. So
Oh, okay.
it's
That's
a
a
+2
miss then.
difficulty. So I think it's
So
a miss
you would
then,
need a
because
5
it's
to
only
hit.
4.
Yeah.
Damn.
Thank you for being honest.
Okay.
That is a miss. So fires wide. He ducks really fast. Okay.
And she looks
who
at
has-
Muck and she just says, "You didn't make the hole for me ahead of time. I didn't know where to shoot."
Sorry. Next time I'll
Is it-
spread out. You finish.
Yeah, that's a good plan. That's a good plan.
Okay. Who goes next? Isra. Jimmy's gone. Mucks. Both of the Mucks have gone. Sun Tzu is gone. Tommy. Has Tommy gone this round?
Not
Okay,
yet.
so Tommy's left to go. The guard is left to go. The bear is left to go. So you can choose who you'd like to go
Oh.
next.
Oh, it's really bad to have the bad people go twice.
Did you just call a bear a bad person? First of all, you guys aren't supposed to be here. Okay.
I'm gonna throw it over to Thomas and say that Thomas is gonna take one of these 2 out. So that's gonna be
Okay.
in a better place. So
Yeah.
you got this, soldier.
So I'm going to try and utilize my outdoor survival to take one of these guards that's been like thrown to the ground,
Yeah.
and I'm going to throw it in front of the bear.
Okay. You need to get a little closer, I would say.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
yeah, it's at a distance. I kept it at a distance because I didn't want to like immediately have it attack you guys. So I think
Yeah.
because I'm doing it for that, I should probably do it for this too. So,
Okay.
But you
I
could.
am going to get closer to the bear with the body, but I'm going to make sure that the bear sees this body. I mean, they were the ones shooting it. Hopefully that works.
Sure.
But, at least, offer that as like, it looks hungry.
It's like
You
waving a stick in front of a dog's face and then throwing it.
Yeah.
Do you okay? So you're going to do your outdoor survival. Here's what I'll say: make an athletics test. Spend your outdoor survival to get a bonus on the athletics test. And if you crush the athletics test, we can say you throw it really far.
Okay.
Just pick it up and hurl it. Because you're throwing it just to get it in its path, not so much trying to hit it like it's like you're attacking it. You're just trying to throw it so that it's in the in the path of it.
I got a 7.
Okay,
Nice.
so I'm going to say, like, you see the ATV go right past you. You scoop this guy up. You rush. You hurl.
Oh, wait, no, I got a 10 because I spent 4. I rolled a 3, so I got 10.
Okay. All right. Do you want to just throw it into the ATV or something? Because like you just threw it really far.
No, I just wanted it to land right in front of the bear so that the
Okay.
bear does the whole like thing where it like lowers down and like sniffs it,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Well, first the ATV hits it, and you can see it, and it sweeps down because you actually didn't attack that guard. So that guard still gets to go. Okay, so you throw the one guard. It's on the path between you and where the bear is. The bear at this point gets hit by the ATV. Sunsu, give me a D6 plus 1.
Roll high.
say-
You got this.
We'll say this is the damage of getting hit by a bear. Okay, or getting hit by an ATV. Okay, so this ATV crashes into it, takes 6 points of damage. You hear as it roars. Thomas, you can pick between the bear going next or the one living guard that's still up shooting you guys.
Oh, the bear.
Okay, so the bear, first thing the bear is going to do is going to reach down and is going to pick up the ATV and just throw it behind it so it's out of the way. So it's just going to... And so I'm going to make this like an athletics test for it, as it's just essentially going to like swat this thing away as it's smashing into it. All right. Okay, so the ATV gets like knocked over on its side, smashed into the wall. You see another portion of the wall falls down. You hear Wilhelm screams from some of the guards that were on top of that section as they all fall as well. And so that's the bear's turn, like swatting away the ATV. It looks down on the ground. It sees right in front of it the body that Thomas just threw, and it's like, and it begins to, like you said, start to lower its head. That means there's really only one other person to go, and that's the guard. So the guard's going to go next. The guard doesn't have a lot of choices. So the guard is going to...
Stitch to Thomas, by the way, for that. That was a fun idea.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right, guard is going to shoot at one of the guard. This guard finally sees the stealth muck moving around from, and he's going to fire at it. Is what I think he's going to do.
Follows the smell of the shit.
Okay, that's a 5, so it'll hit. You need to roll a health test
Okay.
to try to resist falling unconscious.
All right. I'll let Future Muck spend his points.
Okay.
6.
All right, you succeed. You will have a +1 difficulty. He is going to then give himself the first turn of the next round and fire at Stealthy Muck again.
Fair.
That will hit. So roll another stun test. Difficulty is going to be 1 higher because you have the effect of the successful stun. All right. like a breakaway mammoth. Just can't keep Future Muck down. I don't know what happened between current Muck and Future Muck that made him just so wild and crazy. But he's just like, I like to think maybe like Muck is like running from building to building, like hopping over, and you finally hop and land on his, and he's like, and he just shoots twice, and you keep coming, and he shoots again, you just keep coming, and I'm gonna give it to Muck because that sounds like the fun thing to do.
I mean, so clearly what Stealth Muck will do, it's less confusing to say Stealth Muck, is just if it's not broke, don't fix it. He gets shot twice, and he's like, as he's shaking off the shock the second time, he's already reaching out and grabbing him.
Okay.
And just
Give me a
pushing him off.
scuffling test. Give me a scuffling test.
Oh man, he's gonna spend a lot on that one. It's that guy hurt.
Okay.
7?
7
No.
hits.
It's
roll.
gonna be a minimum of 5 because the D6 roll will be a minimum of 4.
There is a comical collection of 3 broken-necked bodies in the courtyard as for the 3rd time he falls, lands directly on his head. Everyone hears this echoey and he flops over. Okay. Let me reset the scene for a second for Muck. So, Muck, before you tell everybody else what to do, who goes next? The bear right now is sniffing the body of a guard. We'll say at like medium-ish. What's it called? It's not medium. What the hell's it called? Long range from you guys. So that's how far away it is. The Sun Tzu manages to delay it with the ATV. Thomas has managed to delay it now with this body, so it's not immediately on you. You think you still have a little bit of time if it chooses to even charge at you guys, which it might not. Hitesh Chen, Jimmy, and Tommy were able to take out, and you can see is, as best a brain can be described, is unconscious in his brain case that is still open air. You have this big old time machine that is still sitting in here. Clearly, the sabotage attempts that you guys tried weren't effective enough, as it was still functioning. So the question is now, like, you've managed to repair the issue with the atomic bomb not going off and everything, but I guess it's now just sort of think about what it is that you guys want to continue to accomplish in the scene. You don't necessarily have to kill everything. I'm just saying what your goals would be in this scene to call it a day and just clock out. So, so keep that in mind. So Muck, that was future Muck. Regular current Muck can still go. So who goes next?
Okay. I think
While you're thinking about that, welcome Raiders, DM Feanor. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for that raid. Sorry, I couldn't find my unmute button. Thank you for that raid. Awesome. We are in 12,000 BC doing time travel shenanigans. Okay, so Muck, who's going next?
So Muck wants to go next because he doesn't know how to deal with sabotaging the thing. I'll distract. Someone break that.
Okay.
I have an idea for like a multi-point spend if you're amenable
All right.
to it. I'm willing to spend
Pitch
up to
it.
3 points worth of stuff.
Okay,
So,
let's hear it.
So Muck is thinking in the back of his brain, like, more than likely, this is the time and the place that mammoth was from, right? And it's been
Yes.
kind of making Muck feel bad that we probably dropped him off at the wrong place. But he made sure to have Isra give him the pin of where she dropped him off at. So what if I spent maybe not 1, but 2 points of paradox prevention and even a point of timecraft to have Muck have talked to Isra, because she's the one who did the hacking to like broaden it to let it go out, and have spoken with her, found where the mammoth was, have spend the time. So basically a total of 3 point spend to get that mammoth that I've already charmed, so to speak, to show up on the scene. And then I could
Okay.
be riding the mammoth as a distraction.
Okay. Isra, do you have preparedness? I know Muck doesn't. Isra, do you have preparedness?
I don't have preparedness.
Who has preparedness in the party?
I think Sun Tzu.
Sun Tzu? Okay.
Yep, I do.
Sun Tzu and you were hunting, remember? So Sun Tzu and you were hunting before. Here's what I'll say. Sun Tzu can roll a preparedness test to initiate a flashback to allow some of those things that you were just saying to happen. If he passes it, you make your spends, and we'll say the mammoth can show up.
Is it a standard?
I'm not going to tell you what the difficulty is,
Okay.
but
But
just
it's a
put it this
standard.
way,
You spend
he's
some-
asking for
you
a
spend
lot of
some points
stuff.
and you pass.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but I'm like, it's the end of like the story. Let's do something really big and nuts.
Yeah.
And I really
Yeah.
wanted to bring the mammoth back.
Yeah.
I will spend
So-
5.
Wow.
Okay. Dear God.
Oh, and you rolled a
dude.
1.
So sad. I
got
did set the
6.
difficulty in my head at 5, or at 6, excuse me. So it's a good thing you spent the 5, actually. Okay. So as future Muck is on top of the roof, as current Muck is on the ground. Spend your points, Muck. We see a little flashback of Sun Tzu and Muck, not just hunting and killing this giant sloth, but also like jumping around, like finding the right like geotag or whatever for like the specific mammoth that is, that is roaming this area, and maybe that like the part of that scene is like luring the mammoth closer and closer. It's at that point you guys suddenly hear the sounds of a trumpeting elephant mammoth, and you hear not just shouts from where the bear is, but now shouts from the other side, from underneath where that crane is hanging in that giant metal ring. And you see like the crane kind of falls off to the side. And as it falls over, the ring goes rolling like a coin on a table until it falls off and crashes into one of the buildings. And we see the mammoth from Tularosa. We can see the friendly eyes as it's looking out towards Tuck as it just sort of smashes into the crane. And now there is a mammoth on the field. There you go.
That's amazing. Muck,
Okay.
what is the name of this mammoth? Because clearly you named it while you were taming it and all of the thing.
Wooly.
I'm totally putting you on the spot. But
Woolly. Okay. All right. So there's now a mammoth
Perfect.
on your side-ish on the field. You can throw that to them if they want. But again, it's just a question of what your continued goals are, right? Like you've taken out Hitesh, you've taken out all the guards, I think, right? Or just all the guards are dead now. What do you
From
want to
there,
do?
like, Muck always thinks of like Jimmy being super smart. So if somebody's gonna have like a random idea for what to do with this, it'll probably be Jimmy.
All right, Jimmy, you see this mammoth come rushing in. You're on the ground. You've got Hitesh. His whole case is falling down. A bear is roaring on the other side. There's broken neck guards all over the place. What's going on, man? What are you doing?
There's so many things that I really want to do right now. The two important things that I'm looking at are something with the brain and something with the time machine. My thought with the brain is to just stick a mem tag on it, but I'm not sure that's the answer.
You totally could do that now as he's unconscious.
No.
You know what? Wait, I'll finish off. I'll finish the job here and just shove my arm inside this brain's apparatus and just poke a mem tag into the gray matter.
Seconds later,
Elbow deep into that brain.
Yeah.
Seconds later, like I think the actual way it works is like you tag and then they send technicians to retrieve them. But I think it's funnier to do it the way I described it the first time. So seconds later, we see the brain, not the case that keeps it alive, but the brain just disappear in this little flash of purple, leaving the brain case behind. As it has been sent back to the Citadel, your technicians will take care of it. Not your problem anymore.
Not a problem.
Awesome. Okay. Who would you like to have to go next?
Is it just Muck who's gone besides me, or?
Muck is gone. I let Sun Tzu do his outside of his turn. I didn't want to take Joe's turn, so he's still to go. Isra's still to go. Tommy's still to go. And I think, I think that's it. All three of them still have to go.
Let's keep up with the teamwork, Tommy. You can go.
All right, Tommy.
All right. So really, what else left? We've got the brain taken care of. We've got all the guards taken care of. Is it the bear and the woolly mammoth? Are they going at it?
There's
or?
still the machine too. Like we
Yeah.
didn't sabotage it fully.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
is
So that's why
probably
I'm
the
doing the
last
distraction.
checklist.
Yeah, that would probably be the best thing for me to do.
Okay.
I'm going to go and over to the machine, and I'm going to look for a part that I'm going to like do a brief scan, like open up what can be opened and look for the most irreplaceable part I can think of that's on this machine and take it.
All right. I would take a tinkering test if you would like to give that a roll.
Okay.
To do something that you're just trying to destroy it, right? You don't really care about it still functioning. You don't want to like recover it. You just want to like make sure that this thing is never going to work again, right?
Well, I want to take it so that if I put it back in, it can work again.
Okay.
If we need it to.
Okay. Give me a tinkering test.
So, I think in order to like further. No, I don't think I want to use my last time craft. So yeah, let's do tinkering.
Okay.
And Do I get to know the difficulty or just go
No,
for it?
not going to tell you. I would say if you have any more science points, you could spend science to get a bonus. If you have any notice points left, you could spend notice. I would take that
could
as a
do that.
+3. Okay, so
Yeah.
give yourself a +3, and then if you wanted to spend tinkering points as well, you can do that. If you wanted a higher bonus as well. Right now, you're
Okay.
at a D6 +3 without yet spending tinkering points.
Okay. Spending 2, so 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11.
Okay,
Nice.
you find the equivalent of, it's like think of it like a car battery in some ways. It's essentially a mobile power source. It's injected into this thing, and even in all of these different cords you can see are funneling from these different generators around that seems to come right into this little conduit, and you just rip that conduit out and you have it in your hand. And so it's like the size of your head, basically. Pull it out, and you have it in your hand. You could, I think you can actually memtag this too, couldn't you? Couldn't you actually memtag the? Oh no, I don't think so. I think that's a memory. Yes, because mem stands for memory.
You can only hit the hard drive with the mem tag.
Yeah.
You're welcome,
I should have
Adam.
pulled the hard drive.
Yeah.
No.
You could say you pulled the hard drive. It's fine. You can say whatever you want.
It's just a joke that Chuck is saying. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
'cause, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I've got that, and I'm just gonna lean back and like take out my pipe and light it. And,
Okay.
Then has Isra gone yet?
Isra and Sun Tzu's still to go.
All right, let's go with Isra.
So at this point, if I've seen all of these things happen, I feel like it's time for us to nope out of here.
That's
And
probably a
let
good feeling.
All
Especially
of the rest of this take its course.
I mean, it definitely looks like the mammoth knocked a crane down, and so it could easily smash this like the machine as well. Like you could probably rely on it for that. What it does with a bear, who knows? The bear is only there if you guys linger. Like it's not on you yet, so like you could potentially start to leave.
So she's just gonna kind of say, because I think our translators basically can act as kind of communicators between us, and so I think Isra would say, like, I think we've checked off everything we need to do. I'll see everyone back at the facility. And so
Okay.
I would say that she'll be programming the autocron to head back to the facility.
Okay, excellent. So I'm trying to remember in combat if it's you can do it and then it takes a round to recharge, or if it takes a round to charge and go off. Do you remember, Melissa?
I thought it was like a refractory period. After you used it, it couldn't be re-triggered.
Yeah.
It says once activated, the autocron takes 1 round to calculate coordinates and changes chronal field.
Okay.
Then it disappears with anything inside of the field.
There you go.
So I
So
think
it's
it may
gonna
actually
take-
be
yeah.
both. After a jump, the autocron requires 1 to 3
Okay.
rounds before it recharges. So it's both.
We see the
both a-
purple shield the purple bubble begins to form around Isra as she has activated her autocron. Do you throw it to Sun Tzu?
Yes.
All right, Sun Tzu, what about you?
So this permanent time rift, is that still open?
No, Jimmy
Okay.
and Isra and Syra, they all took care of it last episode.
Okay. I can't think of anything else to do at this time. Probably just bounce back to headquarters.
Okay. All right. So you activate your autocron. That purple sphere comes around you. Okay. Let's see. Who hasn't gone? I think everyone's gone now, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
everyone planning to travel back? Is anyone looking to do anything else in particular?
No.
Okay.
Travel.
Tommy, are you good to go? Okay. Muck, was there anything else you wanted to do before you travel
No.
back?
Hug
Not in
future muck.
particular. Yeah,
Me.
no, do like the predator like handshake thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you say anything to Wooly before you leave?
I'm gonna
Okay.
actually like tie, like I have a couple of the sloth talons and like tie them into its fur just so it can be distinguishable a little bit.
You start to do as it's like smashing into this time machine with just big old tusks. You just come over, and right as it's about to hit again, it sees you and it stops. It doesn't do the last, and it lowers its head a little bit. You can see it's got this confused look in its face because it's had a day.
It's had a day.
It really has. And you come up and you put a little thing in its hair, and then the bubble comes around you. You hear the sounds of the bear whoosh, rushing through, knocking over all these fabricated buildings. And all of you retreat back to the Citadel. And we see you all show up. You're inside of the loading room. Like, I like to think that there's maybe like a safe space like to travel into and out of. There's like the loading room where you're like traveling out of, and then there's like the load out room where you're traveling into to make sure there's no weird shenanigans happening. And we say all of you one by one pop back in. Syra's with you, of course. You guys are back at the Citadel. What are you guys doing? You guys thinking, saying anything to anybody? Checking anything?
Awesome high five. Probably check in with leadership.
Okay. All right.
And
Sounds
probably
good.
check on the brain because we want to if the brain is here, we want to make sure that like this isn't just we're innocent bystander sheriff dude that we want to get plopped back. Like if it's possible for us to like kind of hold on to that brain a bit, I would say that would sort of be a question that Isra would want to pose to management.
The mem tag would send it to the technicians, so like you could go check on it with them. You could certainly do that, but they would have it at that point.
Mem tags like alter memory and stuff like that, right? To some extent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bomb exhibits are so passe.
Oh, there you go.
That's funny.
That's what we wanted to think.
Okay. So you head over. We see this little scene where like Isra and Makareros is there. You go and you check on it. You see one of your technician friends is there kind of poking around with it. And every now and then you just see the brain just suddenly move here and there, like all these different electrodes connected into it. And you start seeing the process for them like inputting like different memories, and just like some, this woman who's the technician, she's like, what should we put into this one? And then Muck says, so passe, because that's what comes through in the translator. That's not what he actually says, but that's what comes through in the translator, all sophisticated. And she just starts chuckling. yes, that we're going to make him a non-violent pacifist, and just starts typing it in. And you see the electrodes start going off. Okay. Who else is anything that they're doing?
I want to check on what happened to the sheriff we sent.
Okay.
He already got back, but I just want to see
yeah,
what.
Okay. You check in on him, and you learn that over the course of the next 20 years of his life, he became increasingly erratic at work and eventually lost the next election, his re-election bid for sheriff. And he started some kind of strange militia in New Mexico to prepare for clearly some sort of technological invaders. Some people assume they were aliens. Some people assume for some future parallel universe. But he became a militia leader when he left, and so he was on all these different government watch lists and things like that. But poor Sheriff Turner, can't remember his name. But that's what you find. Yeah. Okay.
I would say Isra would want to double check, because I know we knew that residents of Tularosa were complaining about radiation exposure or whatever. I think
that's just standard history, by the way. That's just actually what happened. Yeah.
I think Isra would try to check a bit about Don Horning specifically. So this being we have access now because we only went to 1995. So kind of what we knew, did we actually know everything? So kind of going farther into the future where, maybe there'd be a little more
Don Horning? you guys stopped the bomb from ever getting stolen. So you stopped Don Hornig from ever getting abducted. So nothing out of the ordinary happened to him. He's a real person, by the way. That was really his job, like sitting in top of the roost.
Mhm.
But no, he was never went missing. He was a respected scientist. He was involved governmentally for many decades, and does not seem as though anything untoward ever happened to him.
We saved
then-
the day.
You
I
totally
think-
did.
Looking back, then that seems to be okay. Then looking to the future, now I want to see what happens with Mr. Chen. So, given what we did
Okay.
to the brain,
Well, considering what you're
what
doing to
happened
him, when you send him back, the Chen consortium, the Chen's Curiosities, he has a whole portfolio of work. He is a collector, but it does seem as though I feel like check out like the 25th century, and you kind of like you look at the material you can get from the 25th century. He definitely was a person who collected many, many things, very many expensive things. But I don't know, what do we think he collected? If he's not collecting weapons and bombs, what do we think he moved his attention to that was like pacifist-like?
Beanie Babies.
He has all of the Beanie
We have
Babies
the teddy
ever
bear tie
created.
thing, right?
Mhm.
What's that?
It wasn't one of our early creation things. So
He just obsesses over stuffed animals, and so he has like the original Teddy Roosevelt bear. He has all these Beanie Babies, all of those things. Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
And yeah,
perfect.
I love
Well,
it.
that's good, because I was worried after they were done mind wiping him, they would send him back into the way past instead of his own time.
Well, and I was also like, from that paradox perspective where he was a pacifist, but so he still wanted to take all of the weapons because he was a pacifist. I was like, is this how we got him into that? Like, in the like paradox kind of a thing of like,
so
maybe, like,
just
wants to,
remember,
like, keep
okay.
all of the things instead of like them being used.
Okay. So like when you look all that up, the brain's still here, like outside of time and Citadel. When you look it all up, he never got an interest in collecting weapons, right? But it's around this time, Isra, that all of you, you get a ping on your radio. And you're like, hey y'all, hey, it's Tommy here. It's Sawyer. Sorry, I forgot. So hey, I don't want to interrupt anything or nothing. I don't mean to bother y'all, but there's a way bit of a problem with that timeline that you all just collapsed, because effectively by preventing that stuff from ever like being stolen, there's now like this cut off timeline that no longer can exist because of like the paradox, right? That's kind of what he does. And so you see a ping come up. It's from the Pinball Museum, which is essentially the archive of collapsed timelines, right? Tommy's on it. And it's like, yeah, I'm trying to extract it for storage, but it looks like someone anchored it to an interdiction node. And hang on. And you hear like typing. Looks like 24th century Dubai. Looks like it's a skyscraper owned by the Chen Consortium. Yeah. So yeah, I can't really extract the timeline until the node's been shut down, and I'm starting to get a little worried about like chronal feedback coming up the chain. It's kind of messing all hell with like Citadel systems here. So yeah, I mean the node's pretty localized. It just seems to cover like, I don't know, a couple floors towards the top, I think. If y'all could go sort of sort that out for me, just deactivate that node so I can just extract this thing, that would be great. I know we all probably want to call it a day. Hang on. Yeah, you guys should be able to port into one of the lower levels, but just be careful. The universe is seeming to be, it's about 9 to 7% into collapse. So if you get clipped by it, then there's no coming back. That's annihilation territory. So just be careful is all. But I would much appreciate that if y'all could do that for me real fast. Just tidy things up a bit.
Okay.
That 97% is a very high number. Concerned about that.
Well,
He
we'll
just
have-
meant the collapse of the universe is at about 97%. And what we decided during session 0 was that your pinball museum
Mm-hmm.
were collapsed universes. And so he's trying to archive this universe that you all just collapsed by preventing the theft from ever happening. So that means the
So is
universe where it did happen
Okay.
is now collapsing on itself.
Okay, so like 97% there, but got to get the last 3% of the way.
Yeah, we just want to put it in storage now. I'm like most of the way there, and I just that damn interdiction node. I don't know what's going on. Just be careful. Keep your elbows in tight.
You got a bomb we could borrow?
A bomb. No, but I think. Hang on. Yeah, I think that place might have some though. Yeah, well, yeah, there's quite a few. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of different nuclear signatures and such that I'm seeing on here. So I just need you to turn off the node. That's all. You don't got to blow nothing up. The universe will take care of itself. Don't worry.
Okay. Less fun, but okay.
Well, it's like implosion instead of explosion.
Would it balance out?
Nah. Well,
It's like exploding from the outside.
yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know that science.
But we got to turn the node off.
Yeah, just shut it down. And you guys would know an
Yes.
interdiction. Interdiction is basically the idea of kind of creating a field that prevents like time travel and kind of all that kind of stuff.
All right, let's punch it in.
So I do have a mechanical question real quick.
Okay.
In terms of a skill ability point resets and whatnot, like we're still not finished with the first one, so we don't have a reset yet.
According to
But we're
Tommy,
still-
according to Sawyer, there's still one more thing you got to do.
Oh damn. Okay.
Did you blow all your points?
Worth it.
Stitches are for.
No regrets.
That's what,
I
exactly. That's what
don't have
stitches
any.
are for.
I don't have any.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I was pocketing my 2 and I just used them to refresh the skill. I think I'll use the
mine.
most.
Nice. So
So what do you guys
Okay.
want to do?
Let's pop in
All right.
there.
go to Dubai.
Okay.
So I want to do a little bit of research on this. Like, can we get like a with our tether before we go look up like?
So first of all, did you guys roll a time travel test for when you all came back to the Citadel? All of
Nope.
you should technically
Why
do
would
that.
we?
Muck, you should. You don't have to, but all of you should for your time travel bit back.
4.
Okay. Remember, 4 is the difficulty. You take 2 loss.
What does it mean if I'm at a -1 chronal stability?
Yeah, that's
no.
not good.
Always let me
okay.
know if you get to 2.
I did realize I was that low.
Increase. So you are considered fading. So the difficulty
But
of
you
all
rolled a
general
5.
ability tests is increased by 1. Investigative ability use is more challenging. So whenever you would want to make an investigative point spend, you have to first make a roll. The difficulty of that is the absolute value of your chronal stability pool. So in this case, it would just be a 1. You may voluntarily spend points from your chronal stability pool to gain a bonus to that roll when you're trying to make that test. So,
I mean,
so
if,
-1's not too bad.
if we're in a decent spot before we jump into the final
Sure.
arc, I'll be glad to spend some reality anchor to help folks out.
We call it a
Absolutely.
time hug.
Okay.
Yes,
So you guys do your
it's
time
a
hug.
group hug. Okay, we got this. It's just an inner dick node, and we go, and we push plode instead of outplode, and it's fine. We got this. And yeah, just do a big group hug.
Okay. So you spent the
I'll make
points.
spends depending who needs what. I don't know.
Who needs chronal stability healing? Call it out now.
Me.
I'm
okay.
at 4, so I'm okay.
Jimmy
6 out of
does.
8.
Tommy's
I'm a -1.
okay. Israel's okay. Jimmy needs some. What about Sun Tzu?
I think I'm good. I'm at 3.
Okay.
All right.
I'll make sure everybody gets at least 2, and Jimmy's down low enough. Maybe I'll do 4. So basically, so if basically 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll spend 5 points,
Okay.
and then I'll use some of my stitches to get that back.
Okay.
Boys.
Fair enough. Remember, you
Nice.
can only.
Nice.
I kept.
How's
Sorry.
everyone doing as far as wounds go?
Untouched.
Untouched. But I do have medic, so I can help you. If you.
I think you guys are okay. Okay. Sanju just got attacked. Okay. So, you guys take a moment, patch yourselves up. Do you pour it out?
So Isra first wanted to do a little bit of research on this building, so try to get to download to our tethers some schematic for the building
Sure.
or something to see
Not an
what's
issue at
on
all.
this upper floor and whatnot. So we're not going in completely blind.
You're going to a skyscraper owned by the Chen Consortium. You have a layout, basically. It looks like the upper penthouse seems to be, the upper penthouse levels seem to be his personal levels. They're not business related. So you seem to have.
So we're going to his penthouse. So any cover that we use, business cover, may not get us up there. We're going to have to be personal guests somehow.
Or just run real fast.
Well, this is the corporation that owns the museum, right?
That's correct.
Is that the main thing they do? Is the museum, or do they do a whole bunch of different
It
things?
seems Chen is at least Chen in this splinter universe that is collapsing on itself. It seems he had his hands in a lot of different industries, but one of his personal pursuits was the collection of rare antiquity and artifacts, and lately it's been weapons. But his business portfolio is far more complex. It's technologies, and and he also has to do a lot of stuff with water reclamation, things like that.
Okay,
Okay.
that could be our
So do you
cover.
all-
We're pretending to want to, pitch a new exhibit to him or something for his museum.
Are you all porting to this collapsing universe?
Sure.
Everybody,
Yep.
including Muck,
Okay.
give me a travel test. Because you are not just time traveling, but you're traveling now into effectively a parallel universe.
Oh yeah. Boop, boop.
That's a fail.
Okay.
I failed by 1.
How
Sun
dare.
Tzu and Isra, both of you take 4 points of chrono stability loss.
Damn.
Every
Changing
time
up
you
the
do
really?
numbers. Well, because we haven't been spending because it's just a 2
I know.
loss, and so the spend doesn't work.
You all, flum, 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 one after the other, the 5 of you, poured in. Purple bubbles disappear. You're able to get to the level right below the penthouse levels. And you port into some sort of observation wing that would allow you to essentially look out over 24th century Dubai. Except when you look out the windows, you don't see Dubai. You instead just see the dying light of eons old universe decaying and closing in, as it seems almost the entirety of this universe, the splinter universe, has begun to close in now. All of Earth, all of the different planets, everything has really just started to hone in on this singular point in space. And you can see nothing that you would expect to see looking out a window other than just blinding light. Isra, you took the moment to actually get a layout, like a blueprint of it, and you would know that there are a couple ways up. Elevator goes up. There is an emergency stair that goes up. You can definitely tell that that elevator might not be functioning all that well, simply because of the fact that probably half this building has already been eaten up by this collapsing field. So, you guys do.
We may want to run up the stairs quickly before the
Yeah.
stairs disappear behind us.
Yeah.
Is anybody at 2 or less on their stability?
I'm at
Isra is now
-1
at
now.
One more time, hug.
As you do that, you take the time to group hug. You see and feel the floor begin to shake. You see one of the windows begin to crack. You see a few of the panels that the floor would be fall away, and you see these little patches of light beneath you as the building continues to be eaten away.
Oh, maybe suck it up.
Okay. We'll hug later.
You can do it. It's okay. You can do it. It's fine.
Okay. I spent my stitches to refresh that pool because I figured we'd need to
We'll hug later.
Feel better faster.
feel better faster.
Rub some dirt on it. Okay.
So you're at -1, so I should probably spend 2 on you. And then somebody else was down to 2.
Down to 2, Ezra.
I'll spend another one on you. So basically, I'll spend a total of 3. So that'll get him up to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Get me up to 4.
There we go.
Sweet.
Thank you.
You guys start after the quick group hug. You start rushing up the stairs. As you get to like the turn that goes back up the other way, you look back down, and the first layer of like the first step of stairs kind of falls away into that light. You see the swirling light of the universe collapsing, and you push up to this upper level, one of the penthouse. You see these ornate, beautiful, like golden door frames, golden doors, all sorts of this different embossed kind of carvings on it. You can see the door itself is slightly open, ajar. And as you push and look inside the door, you can see that the entire room, which you're looking at, is something that Jimmy, Isra, and Syra, if she were here, would be familiar with, as you saw this once before through the time rip back in the 12,000 BC. When you saw Chen chasing after you, you see a very familiar layout. You see these floor-to-ceiling glass windows. You can see like it's casting all these like fractured reflections across what appear to be warheads, these floating Cold War artifacts. You hear the sound of the skyscraper continuing to groan and shudder as like chunks of reality are like shimmering and blinking and falling away. You can see walls and floors starting to bleed off. Like even when you breathe, you can see because it's very cold, you can see your air just sort of shimmy as it comes out of your mouth. There's all these different display cases and force fields, and you can see moving about between them are these armored figures that are moving about with this sort of like ritual precision. They're moving thump, thump, thump. You see these two towering like enforcer likes. They have these heavy cassocks. They've got these gauntleted arms that make their fists and their forearms seem huge. And you see these seals, these sort of almost religious seals that are kind of glowing in the fists. You can see that they are flanking this robed priest whose eyes are just flickering and screening, and there's data coming through them here and there, and he's like murmuring scripture here and there. You see a technician that's kneeling by a field drainer that you assume is probably the thing that's producing this interdiction node. And you can see a pile of these different weapons, like piles of Cold War weapons. You can see a couple of these other chemical weapons and devices that are next to him as if they're getting them ready for extraction. You get the sense that this is a different group stealing away these weapons from a collapsing universe. As the door like creaks open, there's like a thud, and you see suddenly the face of the robed priest kind of looks in your direction. Isra, I think of all the people in here, you might be familiar with them. And
Okay.
I think Sun Tzu as well. For some reason, Isra, the cyberpunk Vatican is very important to you. You have yet to define it. And at some point, Sun Tzu broke into the archives and read something that he shouldn't. And while you were in those archives, Sun Tzu, you saw a figure like this. You know that they're referred to as chronoceptors, and that they are some kind of divine priestly group that has to do with time travel. And he looks over in your direction, and he says in this it's almost like electric voice. He's like, "In nomine temporis." And he like makes a sort of a cross over his like head and his chest. And he looks up at you all and he's like, "You dare trespass upon sacred unraveling? Relinquish your arms, submit your apocryphal relics, or be consumed by the holy fire of Saint Kronos." and you can see his eyes kind of glow bright. And you can see the two that are next to him. One of them pulls out this heavy, like, war hammer that shines with these runic symbols on it, and the other one pulls a blade that almost blinds you. What do you do?
So, Isra wants to. Somebody else go if they have an idea. I'm working through something.
So there's like a anchor or something here that's messing with the unraveling.
The
You can see
interceptor.
that in the distance,
Interdiction.
probably about long distance from you, there's a technician that is kneeling down next to this device that you assume is this interdiction node that's creating this field. And they have piled up next to it what looks like a series of weapons that have some kind of device, not unlike your mem tags, attached to them as if getting ready to extract them from this dying universe.
Okay. Do any of those weapons look explosive?
I mean, one of them has a sword, one of them has a hammer. They do have bolt guns on there.
They're wielding these. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, those, like the bombs and stuff, probably are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, if you explode them, you would all perish as well.
They're big.
It's okay. I got other games I want to run, so it's like there's.
Okay.
Just-
I mean, not that
All
good.
right.
at
You guys have
combat.
taken too long, and so at
Okay.
this point, the Chronoceptor is going to, as you did not put your weapons down, as he asked, he is going to utter a prayer, and he says, "So be it. Oh, Tempus Sanctus, collapse their causality." And you see as he holds his hands up to the sky, this like beams come down into his fist, and he shoots them in your direction. As I'm going to use an ability by him, I'm going to spend some of his Tempest. And I'm going to say this is going to target. Who's 5? 5 is Jimmy. So Jimmy it's going to Tommy. Jimmy and Tommy, both of you go ahead and make a paradox test. As you see this beam of light, these two beams of light, one from one fist, one from the other, come out in different directions, warping around you, beginning to destabilize you from sort of the temporal the plane that you are on currently.
That's a chronal stability.
Chronostability test, both of you.
Okay, I'm going to use my timecraft to give me a +3.
Okay, excellent.
Yes. Got an 8.
Okay.
Look at you
both
rolling a
of
6.
you feel the very like the very thing that anchors you to reality, like as you jump from one place to another, begin to start to unravel a bit. But as you feel yourself like almost dematerializing for a second, you're able to just sort of shrug it off. Whatever you keep in your minds to kind of keep you right, keep your minds from falling apart, seems to have kept you at bay. With that not working, he is going to then look very frustrated, and he's going to look at each of his figures that are flanking either side of them, smite them in the name of Kronos. And one of them is going to charge in at you. We'll say the hammer guy is going to charge in. This is going to go after Muck. Okay. Muck, you see this giant, like 6'7", dressed in like a freaking Templar, right? That kind of weapon. But you see in the armor these little circuits of light shifting through it. He raises this hammer above. You see the hammer itself, there's circuitry moving through it as well. And he's going to swing it down on top of you once I find where I put his character sheet. Because that's not it right there.
It's going to
be so cool, guys. Just wait. You just see it's going to be so cool.
Indeterminate amount.
Okay.
It's going to hurt a varied amount.
Yeah.
Which we will discover shortly.
All right, it's a 6 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
And you will take 6 points of damage as he raises up, leans back, and he's he almost he doesn't quite lift himself off, but he basically says, I don't know, what does he say? He's like, by saint and seal, your heresy shall be erased, and brings it down on top of you.
Why is my hair in the sea? Stop hurting me.
The second one, with his blade drawn, will charge in, and he's going to go after Sun Tzu.
Oh no!
Yeah. Okay. And you just hear it doesn't even sound like a human voice as he's racing in this big two-handed broadsword. It's almost like a claymore, and it's just like anathema detected, purging now. And he thrusts this sword forward in your direction. That's going to be a total of a 5 to hit.
Yeah, I'm a 3.
Yep. 7 points of damage onto Sun Tzu now.
Ow.
And it's reduced by 1 for our armor, right?
If you have armor, you reduce it by 1. That's correct.
Oh,
And then
that's right.
I
Thank
will
you.
give this back over to... I'll give it to Muck, because Muck, you were the first one who basically got attacked and hit, as I'm going to hold off on the technician.
Okay.
So, Muck, it is your turn.
Just adjusting my sheet. Thank you for reminding me about the armor. Speaking of armor, I was looking through things you can do with spends. A fun spend you can do for notice is to find gaps in the armor.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, I tied off one sloth claw onto Wooly earlier. I want to take the other sloth claw, and I can see that they've got these really fancy suits of armor, but Muck is a very simple guy, and he's just going to look for a spot where it looks like there's some weak spot where he can jam the claw in and just mess up the circuitry.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay. So you're making the spin for notice. Excellent.
So basically try and do my best to avoid its armor.
Absolutely.
I'll
So it's
use
a
that,
scuffling,
and then I'll do a
I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And you're using your pacifist.
I'll use the raptor thing, because I feel like the pacifist might not actually damage the insides of it. And my hope is to actually get into, Muck's not a mechanic. He doesn't understand the ins and outs of it, but he's get into what looks like wiry, shiny stuff and tear it up with the claw.
Okay. Absolutely. Give your scuffling a roll.
Okay, I'll spend 3. 7?
That definitely hits. Absolutely. And this will bypass his armor. Make it a d6 plus 1, we'll say, for your claw.
D6 plus 1, and I'll get at least a 3 on the roll.
Give me a total.
Turn that into a 4.
Okay. So he brings this heavy hammer down, smashing into you. You almost collapse to the ground. But while you're down there, you look up and you can see just underneath the hip panels of this cassock, you can see there is some distance. And you take the claw, you jab it up underneath and rake. And you actually hear the sounds of pain coming through him, but you rake through it. It might not be like he's a robot. It could be more cyborg-like. Mm-hmm. Okay, Muck, who's going to go next for us, as he does not fall from that?
With that, we have pattern set up. Me, Isra, finish.
Okay, so Isra, you go next. You've got these two giant cyber Templars have chased down onto Sun Tzu and on Muck. You can see this priest who's away at this point. So the technician and the priest are long distance over by that node, that machinery is firing these sort of sanctified bolts of electro holy current at Thomas and Jimmy. What do you do, Isra?
So Isra is thinking. So I will follow up on the shooting. My other thought is that we could tinker with a pacifist to make it stronger and maybe take the thing out with a souped up pacifist.
Okay.
But I will spend the last of my shooting to follow Muck's where he put the claw shoot after.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, go ahead and give it a roll.
4?
A 4 total. Did you spend a point?
I did. I spent
Oh,
my
you did.
last
Yeah,
point.
yeah. That is good
4.
enough. Yeah, a 4 is good. I
Okay.
was gonna say that 3 you rolled. I'm like, that isn't good, but the 4 is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And this is you're shooting your stun, right? You're shooting your pacifist.
Yes,
you're
I'm shooting my
shooting-
pacifist. Yeah.
All right. They have a special ability regarding stuns.
Oh.
And he will pass his test as you fire in. You see as like Muck pulls back that panel. You fire in. You can even see there's blood dripping out, so you know there's flesh in there underneath there somewhere. You can see the whole armor shakes for a second, but right at that point, he just kind of smashes away Muck's arm. The flap falls back down, and he puts his gauntleted hand back on his hammer. You see the runes begin to glow, like the scripture that's beginning to like course through, like it's a stock market update. And Isra, who's going next?
Thomas.
All right, Thomas.
So Thomas is going to go up to the one that has the Zweihander.
Okay.
And he's going to go up from behind him, step through his legs to step on his foot, take his left hand, put it on the bottom of the pommel of the Zweihander, pull it down to bring it up, take his right hand, put it on the back of his head, and run his neck along it to try and slit his neck open.
Okay.
Nice.
You need to roll a scuffling test. You might want to wait until after the roll to get like that detailed about the outcome, but like
That's what he's going to try to do.
that's what you're gonna try to do. And I'm gonna
That
feel
is-
really bad when it doesn't work in a second. But like, go right ahead.
You've got a plan in mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to use, let's see here, medical expertise, because I know that neck is pretty, no, that's reaching too much. Never mind. Let's just dump a whole bunch into scuffling.
Okay. I mean, I would take medical expertise. That's totally fine
All right, let's do it.
to get a bonus.
Plus 3 more. Nice.
And so 4 plus 6 is 10.
That will definitely
Nice.
hit. Okay, so you can roll a d6, add 1 to it. That's how much damage you do.
Okay.
And don't forget, your stitches can be spent on a 1-for-1 basis to increase damage you do, but also
I spent all my
to decrease
stitches.
damage you take.
Okay. Yeah.
Guys should be awarding to each other.
Yeah.
Are we
yeah.
out? Yeah, I don't think we're out yet. Guess.
I did 2
Someone's-
damage.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Not
bummer.
effective, apparently.
Bummer.
You reach up, you try to slash right across the neck, and you hear just the sound of metal raking against metal as you don't actually get into the neck itself, as the arm,
Makes
like he
sense.
has armored protection underneath his neck, so it doesn't actually go through. Thomas, who's going to go next?
We're gonna go ahead and make the because the chrono priest dude hasn't gone yet, right?
Priest is gone. The two big guys have gone. The only one who hasn't gone is that technician who's maintaining that field.
And
Alright,
yeah,
let's have the technician go that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The technician.
Strategic.
This one, I had a lot of fun creating stupid names for. So you guys are fighting Crusader Temporance. There's a Chronoceptor and there's a Liturgineer. These are the names of the Order of St. Kronos. Okay. It's got a
Very
little Warhammer 40k flavor. I'm not going to
Yeah,
lie.
totally.
There's a touch of that going on. Yeah.
what?
Okay. Me? Okay. Okay. There's really not a whole lot he has to do just yet. So he is going to pull out looks like he's got a weapon on his side, a bolter pistol of some kind. He whispers something into it, and then he fires in your directions. And this one's going to go at Isra. All right. 4 to hit. I assume that's good.
Yeah, hit threshold is 3.
Okay. So this is going to do some damage to you. You're going to take 5 points of damage, minus your
Got
armor.
1 armor. Yep. So I'll take
As a-
4.
As a bolt of some kind of like holy energy comes shearing in your direction. Right as that's fired, you can see the whole backside of this museum completely get overwhelmed by the universal light coming in and just rakes away like at the far edge, like very long away, like beyond them as well. And you can see like there's other artifacts of various like historical weapons that are beginning to kind of shake and shimmy, but you can also tell like it's almost like creating this curve as if the field is actually protecting this area from it becoming completely and utterly consumed. Sun Tzu, you're the last one to go, so I'm going to give it to you, man.
Okay. So there's a guy, one of the guys was shooting like light beams, right?
Yeah, the priest kind of like dual wielded 2 beams at Thomas and Jimmy, and then Isra just got shot, like just standard shot.
Okay. And this is like a building that's crumbling all around us. There's like
crumbling all around you. Yeah.
Okay.
They are stealing the weapons, doing the very thing that Chen was doing. They are stealing weapons, it seems, from a collapsing universe.
Can I use maybe preparedness to find something that's like reflective, like mirrored surface of the building that's breaking? And I just want to shoot one of his beams back at him or like into this device thing.
I don't think you need preparedness for this because you're not. So preparedness, what preparedness would do is it would say that you have something that you can use right this moment. Like he's not firing his beams right now; he's already fired them. You could,
okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not a case of like you go back like 3 turns to when they got shot and like change the outcome. That would require a time travel test, basically.
Okay.
Which you also realize the interdiction field will prevent time travel.
And time travel stuff, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the case. I just kind of want to make a run at the device that's generating the field and try and mess with it or take their attention away from them.
Okay, so you close the distance on this device. You see the technician stood up, fired at Isra, but in doing so took his eye off of this field generator, and you slide up next to it. This is going to be a continuing test, essentially. So, like, effectively, there's a number you have to hit. You don't have, if you hit it all at once, that's amazing, but it might take more than one. But it would be a tinkering test.
Okay.
It would be a tinkering test, yeah.
Because it's time related, can I do a timecraft spend?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That makes perfect
sense.
sense.
Another 3?
Yes. So you'd have a D6 plus 3 so far before spending any tinkering points.
Okay. So this will have an additional 3 added to it. So 9 total.
Okay. 9 is phenomenal. And immediately you all begin to see like these beams of light start coming up from that device. This device essentially looks like almost like a pylon, something built by like Nikola Tesla or something like that. You just see it's sort of standing up, but instead of it having those rings at the top, it's got a cross. You just see this cross, and spinning around it, there's light. And right as Sun Tzu begins to tinker and hack away at it, you see sparks start coming up from it. The field itself begins to fluctuate, and you see a bit of the universe begin to encroach, as if that has weakened the field somewhat and brought the universe collapsing closer. Who do you want to go next, Sun Tzu?
I'll throw it to Muck.
All right, Muck. This big dude in your face with a hammer. Smashing down on you.
All right, so I'll carry on. It indicates it can last for at least, or it indicates several rounds. I'll leave.
You got it for the rest of the combat. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you got the army piercing for the rest of the combat.
I think he wants to go all in on just trying to get this guy out.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, it's just he's gonna go all in on the scuffling.
All right, man.
Is a 6 hit?
The 6 does hit, absolutely.
Okay.
There's not ridiculously high thresholds. Like I know it's rare to get something that high. Yeah.
I did it not so much for the worry about hitting, but because my minimum damage will be 6 now.
6 is excellent. It is not enough to take him down.
Oh my gosh.
If you want to spend a spin to get It is not. It is enough to get him to his
stitch.
leg to buckle. You see his leg buckle a bit, but he and he kind of holds his hand up.
You could get to 8 with the stitch.
I could get to 8 with a stitch.
Okay. Normally we make these choices all at once, as opposed to like piecemeal. But I'm gonna let it go.
I thought you could spend stitches afterwards to add to damage. I'm sorry.
You can do that, but if I'm like saying, okay, he's not down yet, and then you're like, okay, I'll spend another one. Like, okay, he's still not down. Okay, I'll spend that. I don't want to do. Yeah, okay.
I apologize.
Even still, I'm okay here because like even that didn't do enough. But he does like you can see his like knee buckles a little bit, but he does not fall.
Hit.
That is huge.
Can I potentially make an intimidation spend?
I mean that would be
These guys are really
different.
zealots. Who am I going to kid?
Yeah, that would be a different action though. I think you're
that's
taking
a different
your action though.
Like I had the brief moment of like trying to scare him to just stay down.
I think you certainly could. It's just because
maybe
you
in
are
a
taking
future
your
action. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, who goes next?
I mean, it's tried and true. I set him up.
Okay.
Ezra finishes him.
Isra. Now, just understand that Muck has been doing health damage to him by raking with his talon.
Shock's going to work great on these guys.
Shock is a stun thing. That's not even trying to hurt. That's just trying to make him go unconscious. So, like, you guys are actually not synchronized in that way. So, Isra, what are you doing?
I would say that Isra wants to help Sun Tzu take out the device.
Okay.
Smart. Yeah.
All right.
So, if she is able to kind of get over there and try to do like a tinkering with that, that is what she would like to do.
You leave Muck.
And I have science, I have hacking, so I'm willing to spend one of those for +3.
Science would not work, but timecraft would work because this is as Joe on his turn kind of mentioned, like it's a time device. So if it's a time device, then you have to use timecraft. If it's just like basic tech, you would use something else. Do you have any timecraft left?
No.
Okay. Then it's just tinkering.
Okay, I'm trying to find some. I'm trying to find something that I can
too.
spend.
Like if you have hacking,
I have a hacking,
you can spend a hacking point to get 3 as well. I would take that as well.
All right, so I'm spending 3,
so you have
and
like
then
a +6.
The 3 from hacking.
Okay, so it's a D6 +6 is what you're at.
Oh, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. Oh, son of a biscuit. 7.
Okay. You see like more sparks come from it, like the field shrinks even further. You see a group of like these sort of like nuclear brackets on the back suddenly disappear as the light of the universe swallows and it like swallows them up whole. You see this display dais where there were all these like old muskets and things, like this array of weapons throughout the decades and generations just gets swallowed up as well as the interdiction field gets even smaller and smaller. It's not quite off yet, but it's certainly close. It's much smaller now. Basically, it's got the diameter of long at this point. Like there's a long range from one end to the other as it's getting smaller and smaller, and you can tell that there's a little bit of concern in that priest voice, in the technician's voice, as the technician like turns up, "Your Holiness, the field's not holding," and like kind of panicked at this point. Who goes next, Isra?
So it's either Thomas or Jimmy, right? That still needs to go, I think.
Sun Tzu hadn't taken his turn either. I think Sun Tzu still actually has his turn. He just gave it to Muck.
Okay. Then I would say Sun Tzu, since we're right here at the machine.
Okay. All right, Sun Tzu. You could, if you do well enough, disable this device entirely.
Cool. I spent pretty much all my stuff last time, so we'll see if I just roll good.
You guys are at up to 16 right now, so that's really good between the two of you. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've just got.
Do you have any hacking to spend?
No, I have hacking. I'm just gonna do a flat tinkering roll.
You got this.
You
I believe in you.
could do. Hang on. Take a look. I would take notice.
Notice.
Yeah, I would take notice because notice is just sort of an all-purpose, like seeing where things. Or I would take that.
Okay, I'll do a notice spend then.
Yeah.
So +3.
It's almost done, Sun Tzu. It's almost done. You got this.
7.
Nice.
As you reach up to continue, like you can see that there's like the base of it, like you've ripped apart like the panels, accessing this inner circuitry, which is unlike anything maybe the two of you have seen other than from the cyberpunk Vatican. Like Sun Tzu, when you were in its archives, you were reading through, like you were seeing all this like alternate history about the way in which like the Holy Catholic Church kind of grew over time. And like it's this completely alternate universe. You had no idea that perhaps they were still in existence. And you reach in and it's not just like electricity flowing through them, but some kind of holy power of time. And like you rip it out, and all of a sudden there's like a shout of concern as like the technician is like, no! And you see the universe begins to completely and utterly collapse on everybody. Everybody, go ahead and make a time travel test.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Gotta make it.
To see if you can get out in time.
Oh. Got a 1.
Ah, I rolled a 3.
Oh my god, I also rolled a 1.
Okay.
Oh, I should have
Thomas,
spent probably.
You're
not
great. You're at 8. Thomas, you have no problem. You see what's happening. You see this closing, collapsing universe. It's shrinking and getting closer and closer. And like you're able to quickly hit your autochron. It takes a beat as you're getting swung at as the purple light begins to shine around. Like the Templar looks over his shoulder and then he takes like his sword, slams it into the ground, and a similar light begins to curve around him. This like yellowish, bright white light. The one on you, Muck, tries to do the same thing, but because his gauntlets are covered in blood from where you did damage, he fumbles a little bit and doesn't get his field up in time. Meanwhile, like Sun Tzu, Isra, like you're standing right next to like where this is. The technician is like scrambling down to try to fix it. The chronoceptor like reaches his arms wide and is trying to like hold physically like the universe at bay, like one hand this way, one hand that way, just looks down at you, Sun Tzu, and just says, "Your timeline was never canon." And that's when Isra, Sun Tzu poof out of existence. The universe collapses. All of you, one by one, pop back into the loading area of the Citadel, having turned the interdiction field off. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to end it there with you all having successfully returned to the Citadel. Having discovered the alternate time travel organization that you all created in Session 0.
Amazing.
I like it.
I'm so excited. That's a great
Very nice,
organization.
very nice.
Yeah.
You know, at least one of them got out, though. The sword guy got out. Everybody else, it looks like, was doomed one way or the other. Okay,
I like
the Order
Gosh.
The Warhammer
of Saint
vibes.
Kronos.
I love it.
I have a list of action lines. I used a couple. I'm saving them though, because like I was having way too much fun a couple weeks ago, just doing like action lines.
That's
So stupid. By
So
Satan's
good.
seal, you are erased. Shit like that.
I love it. I'm so happy about that. It's a really good
All
enemy
right.
faction.
All right. Yeah, you guys are going to be fighting the Cyberpunk Holy Catholic Church or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. as we
Awesome.
go. But that is
Fantastic.
the
I like it.
alternate time
Awesome.
watch. There you go. Okay. Let's just close the plugs. Get the hell out of here as we're a couple minutes over. So let's. I'm going to toss it to Adam first. Adam, tell us what's going on with Cannon Otter.
Well, we just received the proofs for Skin City, and we looked them over. They look pretty good, and so we're going to start delivering to backers on that. And once the backers have had it for a little while, then we're going to turn it public. Or you can come see us at CantCon in the Kansas City area. It's a convention for role-playing games, and pick up a copy there if you want to. So, yeah,
Awesome.
Skin City's coming out soon.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Chuck, Joe, what's going on with Defenders of Cobalt?
Yeah. So Wednesday, we're doing Savage Rifts. And Fridays, we're doing Cyberpunk. It's Always Sunny in Night City. And every random Sunday, we'll do some Dragonbane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Okay. As for us here, first off, I'm going to talk about Huckleberry really fast. Our friend Steven has been making a cinematic action horror Western game. If you want to go to huckleberryrpg.com, you can read all about it. You can hop on our Discord. You can ask him all sorts of questions. And in a couple months, you can back it on BackerKit and get a nice shiny copy yourself. You can also play it right now, as there is a quick draw edition ready to go that you can grab on drive-thru. In terms of streams, tomorrow night we've got some more Mystery Flesh Pit National Park, the role-playing game. It's a Cypher System game based upon some sort of blog project that went viral, and we are going into orifices. That's all I remember. Thursday, we are doing some Swords of the Serpentine, so if you like TimeWatch, if you like Gumshoe, we're going to be playing some more Gumshoe, but a different flavor, Sword and Sorcery flavor on Thursday. Friday this week, we are off. Saturday this week, I can't remember. We might be off on Saturday. I think we're off on Saturday. I can't remember. But Friday we definitely are. But we'll be back next Monday with more Time Watch. I'm going to throw us on the end screen. Then I'm going to give us a raid over to Quest and Chaos. So follow that raid. Have a great rest of your nights. We'll see you all later. Bye-bye.